Okay, well, welcome everyone. I hope this day finds you and loved ones safe and well. Welcome to Metaphysical Astrology. So the classes are going to be every week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and the length of the course is 8 weeks. Before we start, let's introduce you to the Holy Grail everyone searches for. Everyone in the world, past and maybe not so many present, searches for, rather researches, or searches again for the Holy Grail. What you see on the screen here is every culture has their version of the wing woman, the woman in the sky. Isis, Eris, Persephone, Awyan, Kali. Anyway, every culture, this is what's going to bring everybody together. This Phoenix rising, this is what it's about. Everybody realizes that we do have a common thing. It's the mother's love. This group is a structured group for learning. The focus is on the rediscovered magic of astrologos, star truth, the study of the stars that animate us. We will download to you what we have relearned. You will learn the only way to properly understand the exact physics behind your metaphysical experience here in Manifest. Relax. This is as simple as learning how to read time on a clock. You will have to turn your focus to that of a child learning how to read time. Okay, we're going to step you through that astrological clock. So how to learn time the right way. We hope you enjoy learning. So first of all, relax. This course is not your typical course. There's no tests. It's always open book. We're going to go through the book together holding hands. You can learn from anyone. You can ask questions anytime. All questions are valid questions. We are all here to learn. You more than likely hold a key for all of us, so please ask away. All sessions will be recorded and posted on YouTube and Facebook. Remember, you once knew this. Think of this as a course, like a golf course, a journey, except this is a course of your journey through life. So this will be easy. We're going to use the book, which is always free for you to follow and learn from. We will be expanding the book every so often. You can see edits to the current version in the lower left-hand corner. So for example, the book right now has on page 46, revision 1.2, where we notice that we use an updated image that is correctly in the right scenario. So the 1 means a revision and the 0.2 implies a revision change of the first edition. This is the layout of the book. What we're going to cover today is the preface, the layout which we're looking at right now, talk about Arahant, the scriptures embedded in concrete, the Denderah Zodiac, and talk about the Phoenix rising, she is back. And then we'll also be looking at how to look south, the path of the luminaries east to west. This is about reading the clock, understanding how to read time. We've not been taught properly how to read time. So this is really important. We'll get to that. So there's a reason why astrology has not been easy to learn. The reason for this is not only did we not use it correctly, we did not know why we are here. It's important to start with a clean slate and understand the spiritual aspect, aka metaphysical aspect. This being your journey in the Phoenix rising that we are all upon.
Claudia, can I just ask, are we meant to have a copy of this book, or where can we find a copy of it?
It's free. It's online. Okay, do you see that? iyoutome.com/Arahant.
Yeah, I have it right now. Our journey as Arahant. Shall I post the link in the chat for everybody?
Please do. Okay, so for questions during the course. So after each section, we will pause for questions. So please write them down. There's 3 ways to state your question. Raise your hand. So raise your hand during the questions portion. Place it in the chat if you don't want to use your voice. And if you want to remain anonymous, chat to me only. If you're brand new to astrology, just bear with us. We have to show you the charioteer that drives the horse before we teach you about the journey. Also, if you have any questions outside the course, please reach out on YouTube, Facebook group, Messenger, call me. This is our passion. We love questions, all right? So April 15th, 2023, she's back. Okay, she's been coming back. That's what this pandemic is. So we are upon the Phoenix rising, Revelation 12:1, gaining true wisdom, aka Christ consciousness, Brahman, Arahant, whatever you want to call it. It's true wisdom. We will show you the proof that we are changing age on April 15th, 2023. A lot of people have thoughts about it, but nobody's actually shown the proof. We have the proof. This comes from all of us. It's all of our proof. It's in the Akashic records. After gaining knowledge from this course, you will be among the few around the world that actually regained this proof. Albeit many just have the knowing, which is totally fine. You don't have to have astrology to know this is upon us. It's pretty obvious. But to show people the proof, that's the magic. The veil is lifting, and so many are being guided in an exponential way. So clear your slate and let this loving messages in. It comes from your spirit mother. Well, I'll start with the preface. Again, relax. The whole world is an open book to prepare us for our personal Phoenix rising. So we chose to just go through sentence by sentence. So this is always in front of you. Instead of me speaking and throwing pictures across, like I've normally done, I do want to go through like as if we're reading the book together. Ah, yes, who are we? This is the personal Armageddon that we all face. Now more than ever, since we are dawning upon the cusp of the age of Aquarius, April 15th, 2023. You will always see this symbol of the Phoenix rising when I say this date, because this date is important. It's very important. It's part of the proof. Let not the first words greet you with anything but certainty that we are infinite souls here on a journey full of karmic lessons, striving for one love. So you will tune in and start seeing signs if you haven't already, like the winged woman in the sky. Most of you are starting or have always seen repeating numbers, but no, this is from the mother's love. The winged woman in the sky is the holy grail that everyone searches for. It's the sign of her return. Another sign is the halos in the sky around the sun and moon that are being spotted more and more, which are most paintings, stained glass, and other art. This is a sign that the Phoenix rising is about to occur. Happens every 558 years. 4 of them make an age. This one here brings us into the cusp of age of Aquarius. This is why all art forms, stained glass window, they all show halos around the sun and the mother. So studying the ancients and being granted the premise from Ken Wheeler, which is simply physics equals metaphysics, like as above, so below. The yin spirit and the yang being are one and the same. What is meant by one and the same? In physics, the magnetic portion, the one in manifest, is you. And that is tethered to the dielectric, mother's love. You are made from love and will always return to love. You got to make that your knowing. This Armageddon is the seemingly battle between the yin spirit and the yang being. You're being called back to spirit, but your being may not want to release our materialistic ways. Know that it's time to go home or om or back to love, where you have nothing but love in your bones, in your actions, in your words, especially in your images. Very, very important. So let's face the facts. You are a goddess or a god. The glyph comprises God is the yin yang with the point O in the middle, which is the all. We'll talk more about the alpha beta and that they are hieroglyphs later. You'll come to know that Bibles are misinterpretations of the hieroglyphs embedded in concrete on the Egyptian walls. It is interesting to note that the word Egypt is in the Bible over 600 times. Think about that. Egypt, 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 600 times in the Bible. If there's, I don't know how many pages are in a Bible, I guess I should look that up, but that'd be almost like once per page if there was 600 pages. Isn't that a sign to go look in Egypt? So images create our manifestations. When we speak, we have to then form images. This is a primitive form of communication. This is called babble. Isn't it ironic that we are now using emojis, right? Universal symbols. Man has created words that form images that are not truth. Be careful sharing images that aren't loving. You're vibrating everyone with something that's not love. And not only does that bring karma in not a good way back to you, because you are exactly animated by the actions and the images that you let in or let out. They've created so many systems that have no purpose. This is typical for Piscean age, the age with the least amount of love. Materialistic test, to say the least. So be invigorated, because spirit system is connected to you, and it's time to unite with the mother's love. Remember, before you came into this world, you were in the waters of the mother. Only young star seeds are in the womb. Everyone else, gods and goddesses in training, were outside the womb. The nurses, the doctors, family members. There is no man in the sky which comprises spirit. Spirit is pure love, the love of the mother. When you embrace yourself, engulf yourself, immerse yourself in love, everything around you changes. Teach your children well. Clean up your house of images in your mind, your words, and your actions. When you cleanse your vibrations, your children, grandchildren, family, friends, etc., will feel your love. And that's how you induce, and that's how you get your whole world to change. You got a little one that you care about? Make sure that you're pure. Make sure you see them always in good light. Make sure you always visualize them in a good outcome. That's the power you have as goddess and gods. Just make them loving and watch your whole world change. We've done this. I've had friends say that. My daughter usually doesn't get along. She never calls, blah, blah, blah. Well, I said, whose world is it anyway? He says, it's mine. I says, well, how do you imagine her in your world? He says, I get it. So he's told me, he says, I'm going to start imagining her being loving, me loving her, and us getting along. And he did that. Within 2 weeks, she called him. 1 year later, she moved from Australia to live with him here in America, working together with him. All he did was envision the beautiful, loving togetherness. That's the strength we have, and it's getting exponentially larger. So for those who are wondering what this has to do with astrology or astrologos or star truth, if you had this thought, know that there's a lot of healing that will be needed. You will learn the magic how everything is in your chart. Every little thing that happens to you is in your chart. This explains karma, both good and not good, astrologos or star truth, which is the divine principle. This is the reason why we are here. Our journey is knowable, 100% knowable. How we choose to move forward has more and more instant karma, both good and not good. If you are loving, everything will go your way. If not, we bounce off the wake of the one love boat until we get it right. We have no choice. But this is a good thing. Again, I remind you that you are infinite love. You just have to tap into it. So the preface continued. As you'll come to know, who we are is easy to learn. You cannot do it with just printing your chart and looking at it with a modern eye. So I have to share this with you because it's a moment. The grackle keeps landing on the mirror of our RV, and he keeps staring straight up into the sky. And when I go look, there's an alignment happening on the MC. For those of you who were in our Metaphysics in the Bible class, you know that the MC is a time when you should be saying something or praying or setting good intentions and being loving. The signs are getting so exponentially great. It's invigorating. So you must get to know this simple premise behind your chart that was selected for this journey. Nothing comes by chance. You are an infinite entity that is loved and connected, and it's undeniable. The first edition of this book is intended as an introduction to the topics listed in the layout that follows, which we already went over. Future editions will build upon each portion of the book. So we will take each section of the book and expand on it. We have a bunch of material to expand it on already, but let's do this together, one step at a time. It's an open source. Let's learn together, make changes together. But you'll see that much of this is already proof, but we still have lots to learn for the healing portion of it, namely using frequencies, vibrations of love to help people heal instantly. So again, this book is free. It has always been available in the Akashic records. Nobody owns anything. There should never be any patents, because you're getting it from where? You're getting it from the Akashic records. We're just relearning it. So the writer has been blessed with piecing it together from the all listed in the credits section. So this is our book. It's not anybody's book, but our book. There can be only love, peace, love, and cheer. So I want to pause for a moment now, and let's talk about the magic of glyphs. We're only going to look at this first one because this is a message. So if anybody wants to try to figure that message out, go ahead. Because this is what we're going to need to do to look at seeing there's so much more healing information about our journey on the Egyptian walls. So you don't have to answer me, but I'm going to ask you this question. Those two hands there that you see put together, take 30 seconds before I tell you what I see. So try to think like an Egyptian. What do you see when these two hands come together? So clear your mind. I mean, of course, you're going to start thinking, well, that means prayer. That's a common one. And people use it for thanks. They say centered. I also see two hands. I see the yin, yang, left and right brain and union coming together as one. I see the space between the hands where love resides, like the center of the magnet, the center of a field, the point in the middle of the circle. That's where pure love is, the inside. I see one hand placed on a mirror with a reflection. When you look at the Egyptian walls, when you look at these glyphs, can you just have an open mind, because we need you. We need you to look at it with an open eye. Because modern Egyptologists, they're kind of missing the point. The Egyptian walls aren't full of phonetics, albeit people tried to communicate using phonetics with it. But the message is not there in the phonetics. So I'll leave the rest up to you. I just used my own thoughts and I looked at it. Trying to train my eye. So please do the same. This is what, with guidance and with learning from others, is what led us to the proof of the Phoenix rising. Looking at the images and the breadcrumbs. Pulling out your magnifying glass. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Know that we're supposed to be doing this. That's why they left those breadcrumbs for us. Any questions up until now? Benjamin?
Yes. Defining love. I'll just say what I express it as, and that is just giving. It is pain, it is kindness, it is almost everything. So it's almost like it's the whole experience of everything on this earth, the giving of everything. But I don't want to be a giving of the everything. I would love to be a giving of kindness and the aspects that I think that I have experienced that cause there to be something joyful. So love, I don't know, it needs to be almost defined, because I think God is just giving everything. I mean, everything is him. So there's pain in that. And it's almost like, man, love, it almost needs to be more specific on the, I mean, for me. And that just, I just wanted to express that. But I know what you say when you say love. I'll just rest with that.
Okay. Yep.
I want to extend on that. You hear
Okay.
me? Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Lex.
Supposedly there was a story about the Hopi language that they had no word for I, for me. And the closest that it came to I was giving, for the sensation of giving. That was, so I wanted to extend it on Benjamin, was it? So as everybody is giving, there's also receiving. That's also these two hands together. Both hands with the giving side to each other.
Okay. Thank you, Lex. Okay, Susan.
Okay, so just a question from what you posted there. I wrote this down because my conscious brain can't figure it out. When you had said only young star seeds are in the womb, everyone else, goddesses in training, were outside the womb. Is there an explanation? Like, I can't go anywhere with that mentally. I don't get it.
Okay. So we're about to come into the waters of manifest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to just feel that the young star seed, because the stars animate us. So and I'm going to try to also respond so I can cover Benjamin as well. Everything we do is karma related. Everything we do that's good, karma comes back to us in a good way. If we do something that's not good, karma comes back to us. So the stars animate us. So you're the young star seed in the womb. You're about to be animated, anima, a soul. So the only thing, what I really wanted to get across there is that there's only you and the mother. There's nobody else. You're surrounded by the waters of the mother, love. The other star seeds that are already manifested are outside the womb. So this is when you now come out from the waters of the mother into the waters of this earth plane. So the star seed means you're about to be animated by the stars. You already are inside the womb based on your mother's karma, both good and not good. It's carried through, and then you come into the waters. When you start learning that everything you do, and I just do that, I do that with people. I just go and look, and I see, yep, there it is, there it is, there it is. It's all there. When you start realizing, wow, okay. So every little bump, everything we do is there. The only thing we can control is the amplitude of how we get that bump. They're already there. I use the example of driving down the 401. It's a highway, 120 kilometers per hour with my brother, best friend, going to see my son. The car comes to a grinding halt because of traffic. And then we start inching, right? And at 5 kilometers an hour, my wheel falls off. That's in my chart. But if I hadn't already started my spiritual journey and I wasn't being good, it would have been faster or faster or faster. So they're all there. And how do you decrease the amplitude of that bump? Love. Love. And everything that comes in our way, we're that young star seed about to be illuminated by the stars based on our karmic actions of the past. And I really wanted to get that message, Susan, that we're surrounded by the love of the mother. And now she's coming back. The Phoenix Rising is about her wrapping her arms around you again, going, okay, you've had this experience. There's only love here. I'm going to show you love again. You can't exist without love, which is a beautiful thing. People think, well, man's going to ruin it. No, they can't. It's written in that they can't. It's the fall of Babylon. It's impossible. I hope I explained it a little better for you, Susan.
Yeah, thanks.
What's your first name, astrological me?
It's Martin, Claudio.
Martin. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that. Martin. Okay.
Mars. Claudio, I just wanted to ask about the line that reads, as you will come to know, who we are is easy to learn, but you cannot do it with just printing your chart and looking at it with a modern eye. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so Western astrology most astrologers don't use the Phoenix rising as the clock. So they use the tropical system, which is off by 23 degrees. I made a video on that and I posted it. The Phoenix rising would have happened in 1920 or 22 or something like that. And there was no moon at the feet there, which is the north node. As you'll come to know further and further in the class, we'll prove to you that every 558 years, Isis, Eris, the mother of all mothers, pure love happens every 558 years. Modern eye is missing the Holy Grail. The modern eye is missing that the Denderah Zodiac proves the right settings. The tropical system is a good system, except it's the house system that doesn't move. The first house is always at the Phoenix rising position, like 0 Aries is the first house. So, and it's not simple just to print your chart and look, because you got to get to know you. Because you might have fixed something when you were little and you learned that lesson because somebody told you what to do, and now all those bumps get diminished, just like the wheel on the car. So any one of your lessons are still going to come to you that you haven't fixed yet. And if you don't treat it with love, it keeps coming. If you know, wow, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, X happens to me. And you think it's somebody else. No, no, no. The stars animate everyone in front of you so you can learn till you get it right. It's a perfect system to bring us back to one love. So we're going to get more into
Claudio,
that on the proof.
Yeah, so you mentioned that the tropical system is off by 23.5 degrees. Now, Thomas H. Burgoyne, who wrote the Light of Egypt set of books, Volume 1 and Volume 2, he enlightened us when he mentions that the tropical system is based upon the ecliptic, and whereas the Vedic system is based upon the stars. So the tropical system, which is a local influence in my understanding and listening or reading Thomas H. Burgoyne, where he mentions that, or he kind of clarifies that the tropical system, the energies emanate from the solar center, from the ecliptic. So the first 30 degrees of the ecliptic belongs to the cardinal fire of Aries, and then the second 30 degrees of the ecliptic belongs to the earth, fixed earth quality of Taurus, and so on. So I'm not sure whether the tropical system can be said to be off, if that is correct. But in relation to, say, the Vedic system, there is like a juxtaposition between them both. But my understanding is also that both systems have differing valid reasons for their use.
Right. So we're going to show you that the tropical system, like I said, is the house system. When I say off by 23 degrees, when I learned, I was learning from somebody and I said, okay, so I'm going to go outside, and it said the moon is in Libra. So I go outside, I grab my app, I look, the moon is in Virgo. It's off by 23 degrees. The people that use a tropical setting, but they're misinterpreting what tropical means. We're going to show you that the stars map the lands. The lands will always be the same shape. Okay? That's the tropical system. That's the beginning. It's time immemorial. Whole whack of settings, but nobody predicted this pandemic, and we did. We knew there was going to be a corona chakra cleanse. Back in October of 2019, we published a video on December the 2nd, and then next thing you know, it's out. Yes, it's a full body cleanse, corona chakra cleanse, lights up your whole, and because Eris is coming into Aries. So we'll show you some of that.
Claudio, when using the tropical system, what house system do you use? Placidus, Porphyry, equal house?
Equal house, and we'll show you why. The circle of 60 and the circle of fifths prove that you should be only using 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs. It can't be any other way. It can't be.
Okay.
So we're going to show proof. We don't say anything unless we got actual hard proof. Okay, so shall we move on? So what does Arahant mean? Why did the writer pick this babble? Right, because remember, every letter is a glyph that has meaning. So we speak in Babel when we put letters together. It matters not what word we use, but we will give you a few examples of others you may have heard of. What is meant by journey? Do you see the word hour in journey? How about hour in hours? And also the Egyptian Horus and his journey around the Zodiac clock to become Arahant. So you have to remember, Horus in Egypt is you and your journey. It's not about the afterlife. What's on the Egyptian walls is about your life now and what to do to become pure love and get off the wheels if you so choose. You're either infinite in reincarnations or you're infinite light of pure love. But you're infinite. And you can always go home to one love. Let's review a couple of quotes from the text, Original Buddhism and the Atman by Dr. A.K. Kumaraswamy, shared by Ken Wheeler with the permission of the son of the author, or Kumaraswamy. So from Kumaraswamy, in many contexts, Brahman is synonymous with Arahant. See, because everybody's got different words for this, so everybody's got to try to decipher what these words mean. Okay, in numerous contexts, the Buddha and other arahants or perfect men are described as having made the self become, i.e., as a mother fosters her only son. So we're going to be coming back to that statement. As a mother fosters her only son. The accomplished arahant knows better than to ask, what was I in the past? What am I now? What shall I be hereafter? He can say I for everyday practical purposes without any way intending what the notion of I or myself implies to the animist. What is meant is we use the word I in a physical sense, but he refers to I as the essence of pure love, what we call the self. But for our purposes, we will always replace these different words for the state of being, such as self, Christ conscious, Brahman, Arahant, with what it truly is, pure love. To become Christ conscious, to become Arahant means pure love. If you're not using pure love, you're not Christ conscious. The more and more you understand this, the more and more you look at your chart and you know more and more why things are happening to you because of past actions that are still vibrating your way. This is how to become Arahant or Christ conscious or become pure love again. Just keep reminding yourself of the weighing of the heart ceremony. The weighing of the heart ceremony in Egypt. I will add this to the video. Is the scales of Libra with a heart on one side of the scale and a feather on the other. And in order for you to graduate, to become Christ conscious, Brahman, Buddha, Arahant, whatever word you want to call it, is to have your heart always as light as a feather, no matter what happens. This is the test. The Arahant or perfect man is one whose self has been tamed. So basically taming to what I just said. Taming your materialistic desires, taming all things that aren't loving. So in simple terms, Arahant is one who is pure love. In other words, Arahant equals one who is not identified with materialistic ways. One who lets pure love inside steer the physical ship. One who controls a conscious mind. One who controls the head of the snake, as in the Ouroboros. This is the Ouroboros. The snake eating its tail. So the Ouroboros is a symbol of infinite dyings on the cross, i.e. reincarnations due to the head of the snake eating its tail. This represents our conscious mind attaching to materialistic ways, not loving ways. The constellation of Ophiuchus sits above the constellation of Scorpio. In this image, Ophiuchus is separating the head of the snake from the tail, while stepping on Scorpio, who manifests materialistic desires. Ophiuchus teaches you how to be Arahant or pure love. There's a confusion that Ophiuchus is in the zodiac, making it the 13th zodiac constellation. There's only 12 zodiac constellations. Ophiuchus sits on top of Scorpio because it's showing you the way home, how to get off the wheel. Ophiuchus is more north than all the zodiac signs. He's teaching you how to step on that scorpion. So what more needs to be said? The rest of this book will be to prove not only this is attainable, you are Arahant, or love, full of love. You just have to be Arahant. Just be love. So later on, I want you to jump into this song and the lyrics, and you will feel the Arahant, because this song, these guys knew. The 60s and 70s, there was a blip, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, where all this love was trying to come out. But it just wasn't time yet, because we're still in the Piscean age. But it was a sign that it was coming. So if you watch and listen to love reign over me, let love rule over you. You have two snakes, the white snake and the black snake, the yin and the yang. Let the black snake, which is pure love, reign over you. That's why the Egyptians have the one snake coming out of their forehead. It's a status symbol. You've become pure love. You graduated. You're controlling your materialistic snake. So going back to, in numerous contexts, the Buddha and other arahants or perfect men are described as having made the self become, i.e., as a mother fosters her only son. So the way a mother fosters her only son, you should be protecting that pure love inside of you. How do you do that? There's an innocent child inside of you that wants to come out and play, but it can't because the adult world has done things materialistically that child doesn't like. So a really perfect gauge for you is, would I let an innocent child do what I'm about to do? Because that innocent child is still within you, and it's called pure love. Follow that guide and watch your world change. Questions?
I got one, Claudio.
Susan? Okay.
Just
I love
out
it.
of curiosity, yeah, you said in October, November of 2019, the charts you could see whatever you call it, Corona cleanse coming. Okay, so is the Phoenix rising the end of it, or is another stage of it, or how does the Phoenix rising connect with the pandemic or with the Corona cleanse?
Okay, so Eris, the mother, and I'll stop and show it when I get onto one of the future slides, but Eris, Isis, the winged woman, has been in Pisces. She comes into Aries, which we're going to split apart for you in this class. She comes into Aries every 558 years. From Pisces, the feet, into the head, the crown chakra, the corona, to cleanse us of our images to become pure love again. So when this starts getting lit up, it lights up all the chakras. That's why it's called a corona cleanse. So we said, hey, everybody, we got this corona cleanse coming, which lights up all your chakras, all your organs, which all start spitting out all the vibrations that are no good. Hence why everybody has got a display of some sort of symptom, which, by the way, is in everybody's chart. And whether you get the jab or not doesn't matter. That's why you can love people for their decision of going to get a jab or not, because whatever happens to them is going to be in their chart anyway. The jab is nothing but a placebo. And the pharmaceutical people know that. They're just making money. But at the same time, Spirit has given us a lesson. You're going to trust in man, or you're going to trust in me? You're going to trust in material, or you're going to trust in love? So she comes in to cleanse us. It's no different than a magnet coming and wiping out your credit card wiping out your freaking floppy disk. It's clearing you, giving you a clean slate.
Claudio, so aside from the pharmaceutical companies making money from this, could we maybe agree that they know about this astrological cleanse, and because astrology has and is being attacked because of its value in us knowing our astrology, that they may have created this fake pandemic as being something to answer for what is happening in the skies and how that is going to affect man, and therefore they have an answer for that to distract us from real reason, but also make the money from it as well.
Right. So that rabbit hole, we've all gone down. Many of us have gone down that rabbit hole. That's why a rabbit is part of Easter. That just went click with me today, because the rabbit lives in a hole and the rabbit comes out of the hole. And the rabbit's Easter, the true Easter that's upon us. The Easter happens every 558 years because it rises in the east, Easter. The Easter happens. So man actually might be thinking that he can control this realm. That's what happens in the Piscean age. But that's why it becomes the fall of Babylon. All things change. It's written. It's impossible to be any other way. If you study Ken Wheeler, you'll see the physics of this happening. It's impossible to be any other way, which is beautiful. Hence why I follow a buddy of mine, Ted Smith. He's a pastor that I met in Long Point, Ontario. Very good brother. And I always promised him I'm going to go see his church. And he brought up the prodigal son. So I go and listen, because I know there's going to be synchronistic signs when you read between a line and lines in the Bible, because the Bible is an astrological book. It's nothing else but that. Written by Christ conscious people after a previous Phoenix rising. You will see that the major Bible changes happen after a Phoenix rising every 558 years. You can line them up. We all become spiritual again, but this one's different because now we're going to the age of Aquarius. So man actually thinks, now prodigal son, here's our test. You know the truth. Are you going to forgive him? I do. Because we may have played that part before. We got to be careful. You got to love everybody. You're going to love them. If they're still being deceivious after all this, they get instant karma.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So now it's just to be loving.
Compassion comes from love. Compassion comes from love.
Right.
So we have to be compassionate.
Right. We're infinite. So we're infinite. So it doesn't matter. But I pray for them, because the karma that's going to come their way is going to be unbelievable.
Okay.
We're already starting to see it happen all the time.
You're right, Carlos. You're absolutely right. That they're resigning, they're retiring, they're exiting. It's going to happen. Yeah.
The one that hit me recently was I used to be a Foo Fighters fan, and Foo Fighters were the first one to make like an all vaccination concert. Like they were the first concert to be like, you have to show your proof of vaccination. And just recently their drummer died.
Yeah, but he's infinite, right? He's going to come back. He's going to be reborn into a family that's going to love and nurture him and explain why he's getting the karma.
Oh, it was just a physical manifestation of it. I was just making the point that that's the kind of karma that we're seeing lately.
Yeah, I get it. 100% get it. Thank you. Anybody else, or shall we move on? Anybody else? Okay, we're going to move on. Please, I'm totally okay with this. It's about all of us learning together. We're going to university together. One verse, university, one love-ity. So this is about us walking together. And I know you guys all hold keys, so please ask away. Okay, so we're going to go into the portion of the book that talks about the scriptures embedded in concrete in the Denderah Zodiac. All right? So from the Hathor temple in Denderah, Egypt, resides the Denderah Zodiac, which is the image to the right. So this is the Denderah Zodiac. This is a clock. Okay, this is your journey. This is where the Bible was written from. All misinterpretations of the Bible stem from this, bar none. So the mystery behind this masterfully created walk of life of Horus has been solved. It is the cycles around the clock of infinite mortal lives. Remembering the meaning of the hieroglyphs is key to being Arahant, the key to becoming spiritually immortal. Doesn't mean you have to have this, you have to have it figured out. No, because you just need to be pure love. And you don't need to know this. But this helps show people the magic. Show them the proof. So we'll take just a little walk around. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but you can see Aries right here. You can see Taurus. Here's Gemini holding hands. But I'm learning to have a more watchful eye with the help of others. That you can see this is the yin and the yang. Gemini, you're twins. That's why they're twins. Look at the female. She's standing with her feet together, holding hands with the male, and the male is walking forward in motion. This is the male, the one in manifest, the one in magnitude, the magnetic. The white snake, the yang, the materialistic one. This one here is sitting right on the domain of Horus. In other words, she's connected to spirit, to the all. There's so much beauty in here. There's Cancer. Here's Leo the lion. I hope you can see my cursor. Virgo, right here. Look who sits here right at harvest time. Sarah is the harvester. Spica. This is why it's important to have Spica, Lahiri in the zodiac. We'll talk about that more later. Mercury with the Akashic record is standing right next here. Here's Libra, the scales. Scorpio. Sagittarius. Capricorn. And rightfully so, we got John the Baptist, Aquarius. And then over here, the two fish of Pisces. There's so much beauty in here, it's incredible. We haven't figured it all yet, so please dig in. So you will notice that Ptolemy, the sculptor, has placed the constellation, 12 zodiac, and 36 decans. These are all related to the total of 48 constellations that are time immemorial. There's so many people that have changed the shape of the zodiac and everything else. Watch it, be careful, because no, the modern eye did not find anything different. They changed it, and now you could never find the Phoenix rising again. We were smarter then. We were way more advanced. So we're going to discuss a few key points. The image above, as can be seen from the 9 o'clock position, which is really the 6 a.m. position, but we'll get into that. This is the 9 o'clock position. We know, okay, well, noon, 3, 6, 9, 12, right? No, this is a 24-hour clock. So you're going to have to reprogram yourself about the clock to look at this. This is really the 6 a.m. position. This is the 0 point Aries position. So this headless person sits. The one waiting for the spiritual eye sits at the 0 point Aries. Really important. This is the Phoenix rising. This is us getting that new third eye, that corona chakra cleanse. So this is the position where revelation of Arahant becomes apparent to the masses. Everybody starts realizing that, hey, we're on a spiritual journey, man. We're all waking up. Like I say, you don't need to know this to feel it. But if you want to show the magic and prove that it's happening, and it's not all just woo-woo, it doesn't matter anyway, because everybody will wake up or come back and try again. This is the point in which the clock cycle becomes apparent. More on this in a later section. The headless eye waits for the eye of Horus. Remember, hours. The all-seeing eye, knowing, Arahant, becoming Brahman, Christ conscious. So this is just showing the third eye depicted on the Egyptian walls. And this one here is kind of blurry, but it's really the third eye. So remember, north is the bottom of the chart. This is where the winter solstice, the soul, the birth of the sun. That's why Gemini is there. We'll get into that more later, but This is your life journey. Just like the bees know how to form honeycombs, we will always leave a path leading to the Holy Grail. That's what happens. Whoever's still remaining on the clock will always have to rebuild, show the love for the next generation that comes behind us. So it'll always be there. Any questions on that portion? All right. So now we're going to talk about, in the book, Phoenix Rising, she is back. Mythologically, the Phoenix Rising is the Bennu bird, symbolic of the great blue heron, which bursts into flame and rises from the ashes. The Bible's got Phoenix Risings in there. And they talk about this thing, this whatever it is, it lived for 500-600 years. Well, there's your 558. You're going to see that number come up because we are in this book going to get through that math. It should teach you the simple math. In the previous section, it was stated that the Phoenix Rising is shown in a Denderah Zodiac, the headless being sitting on a throne, awaiting enlightenment, right? Astrologically, the Phoenix Rising is an event which occurs in the eastern sky, specifically at 0 point Aries. This would be Eris, the sun, and the moon's north node, shown on the right. Note that Eris goes by many other names like we talked about earlier, Isis, Madonna, and many, many, many more. So here you can see on April the 15th, Eris, depicted by this glyph, the sun, and the moon's north node happens every 558 years. We've done this. It's exact. It's exactly 203,813 Julian days. The Vatican played games, calendar games, intentionally or not. At first, we thought it was 2022, then 2024, and then after we fine-tuned it, and then we found the exact 558 or 203,813 days. She sets the clock. It's crazy what happens. So Revelation 12:1 in the Bible, now a great sign appeared in the heaven. A woman, Eris, clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, right there. This exact alignment happens every 558 years. No other time, right at 0 point Aries. There's no coincidence that Aries, don't forget, each letter is a glyph. So this is Babel. You start moving them around, you'll see Aries is a rise, and it's still Eris and the alpha is you, or the sun. So there's no coincidence, meant to be the Phoenix Rising. Eris is the mother, A is the alpha, the sun. So A with Eris gives you a rise. So you see in the Bible, I am the Alpha and the Omega. The A is on one side and the O is on the other side. When we show you the Alpha Beta, it beautifully wraps around the circle, the Zodiac. This verse matches what happens in the sky. It's beautiful. It's incredible. So the book's asking you, are you picking up what I'm laying down? With all that is happening around the world, there is a cleanse upon us. The cleanse is preparing us to be Arahant, Christ conscious, the true Easter, because this happens in the East. This is the East side of the clock. The Phoenix Rising in the East, the mother coming back to save her son, S-U-N, which means the materialistic, the material one, the daughters and the sons. It's all about the love of the mother. We're in a perfect place to learn to be gods and goddesses. There's no choice but to become one with love. You will see this as you get to know the images. So what did we, as totally enlightened Egyptians, leave behind for us to prove these Phoenix Risings? The Egyptians revered Isis, the winged woman of the sky. She is the holy grail that all recent past astrologers like Da Vinci, Galileo, etc. were trying to tell us about. They always looked for her return in the sky. More on this later, but the Sphinx in Egypt was intentionally set to mark the longitude of a past Phoenix Rising in 349 AD. So if you looked up at 0349 AD, I'll share the exact dates in a future class, but it's a cycle of Revelation 12:1. So this Sphinx here sits on the meridian of Alexandria, exactly where a phoenix rising occurred. Bingo. They've left this monument there intentionally. So when we do find it, it's more proof so we can all go, oh shit, man, this is true. This is absolutely true. We do have a spirit mother that's coming back to save us. But it's us saving ourselves. Us saving us from our own karma by becoming love. You can't wait for somebody to come and save you. You got to save yourself by becoming love, becoming Arahant, becoming Brahman. Hey kids, Mama will always show you when I return and how to find me. This beautiful brother here, man, I wish he was still with us. I'm sure he's embodied somewhere. Abdel Hakim Awyan, he said, and when he said this, man, I just got this such great loving feeling going through my bones. Because when they reconstructed the Sphinx, they forgot that it was she, the winged woman. They made it a face of a man when they reconstructed it. No, because it's a winged woman, the Sphinx, marking where one of her past phoenix risings were. It's invigorating. So let's cut to the chase. This event happens every 558 years, every 203,813 Julian days to be exact. In this section, Isis sets the clock for simple math that removes all the guesswork of how motion happens within the firmament. You will see that these 558 increments point to where we are in the great year, aka age. We will show you proof that the next Phoenix Rising is April 15th, 2023, which we've already been showing you. Why is this event so special? Because it's a time of revelation, a time of cleanse, and the fall of Babylon. The fall of everyone, not just man in government and those profit mongers. Each and every one of us loses control of the materialistic snake. We have no choice. Revelation is a time when we become aware that we are more than the physical body and that we are having a human experience while tethered to the love of the mother. Cleanse in Egypt is called the seven scorpions of Isis. With the Phoenix rising, we get a new sun. This is the story of Jesus or Horus, better explained as anyone achieving Christ consciousness or Arahant. With a new sun, we have a brighter, purer physical sun, which is a brighter rainbow, or vibrations, hence cleansing every organ in your body. Now it's up to you how you handle this cleanse. Greet it with gratitude, and for heaven's sake, use only natural plants from Mother Nature to cuddle you. Everything else is man-made, and it'll delay your cleanse, and repeat it over and over again. If you're going to use something that doesn't have much love, it ain't going to hurt. It's not going to help much. But just know your cleanse finishes when your chart tells you it's going to finish. But you can dampen the bumps. You absolutely can. You can only do that with love. So if you're putting anything down your trap, in your nose, on your skin, wherever you put it, make sure it was done with love. Because every atom vibrates based on who's touched it, what's processed it. When you search for that and ask for guidance, it'll just come your way. So the etymology of virus, is a snake spitting its poison. Your kundalini is cleansing its sins or karma, all the karmic vibrations that every atom in your body has. So you are now amongst the few, soon to be many, that know not only about the Phoenix Rising, but the proof of why the Sphinx was placed on the meridian of Alexandria. Questions?
If we wanted to place the time and date into, say, Astro theme, what parameters would we need to place in there to be able to see this alignment on the chart?
You have to use sidereal, lahiri,
Okay.
12 equal houses, and make sure you use How many people use Eris in their charts? Not many.
No.
There are some. We're guided to this stuff. It's so beautiful. Like,
What time does the alignment take place, Claudia? What time?
so if you go April 15th, 2023, Queenstown, New Zealand, because there's a manual vetting process to find the past ones. I've done 5 so far. It's manual to find the exact location. But when I did it and then it lined up with the Sphinx, it's like, beautiful. So it's Queenstown, New Zealand, 7:25 a.m. is what we just showed you there. And then you'll see the sun aligning with the moon on the ascendant or 0 point Aries with the moon north node, the conscious mind. The north node is the head of the snake.
Hey, Claudio, quick question. Have you ever tried to put that in like Stellarium or one of those, apps and see it there? Because what's your experience with that? I've been messing with it, and it just doesn't look like what you're saying from what I'm finding.
Right. So they do align, but Stellarium and the way people use NASA's data is skewed. Number one, they don't have 0 point Aries in the right location. I created a little code. I can see all the alignments. They use the improper shapes of the zodiacs. Stellarium is an awesome program. It just needs some tweaking. So you will see 2 line up, but it won't be at 0 point Aries because they don't have 0 point Aries. Go look it up. NASA uses an arbitrary point for 0 point Aries. Hence why if you use a really good astrology software, which most of them use, so somebody does the ephemeris. And so with guidance to go to this, and then now you start going, well, wait a minute, we predicted the corona cleanse. So, because I keep on to question myself, are we doing it right? Are we doing it right? Doing it right? But everything just all lines up, which you will see as you continue on in this course. It's all there. But I've been trying to reach out to people in Stellarium and try to help create a little portion of that code so it lines up properly, because it's really important. So thanks for asking that.
Just real quick to that logic, because if you use Stellarium, I can use it. I can look at the sky, and I know the sky enough to be like, okay, it's accurate. I see what I see. So then I could do it and fast forward it to tomorrow or fast forward it to next week. And then I could go look at the sky and that's what I see. So from your logic, when does it start messing up?
Like I said, you won't see the alignment at 0 point Aries because, again, they pick an arbitrary point for the zodiac. So don't forget, NASA does not believe in the zodiac, but it's all there. They added 10 days to the calendar. If you go look in NASA, the 10 days they added in the calendar in October, I believe it's October the 4th, 1582. They added 10 days to the calendar, so that skews everything off. Hence why, using Stellarium and everything else, I ended up with a 2022 date, 2024, and then once I discovered that 10 days they added to the calendar, wow, boom, fixed it, bang, there it is. I just went to Julian days. So the constellation sizes are off and their 0 point Aries is off. And to get the 0 point Aries, it's very easy. Just put Spica at the cusp of Libra Virgo, and then you got it. And there's something with the ecliptic there because it won't go line up exactly on the ecliptic. They're aligned perpendicular to the ecliptic, the sun and Eris. But you'll find that later on down the road, they touch the ecliptic. So there's something off there too.
Cool. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Please, that's the more and more people we get to ask. I use Stellarium all the time, man. It's an awesome program. Awesome program. Anybody else? Marion?
I just wondered what your opinion was regarding why they did that. Why did they add 10 days? Why have they obscure this information from us? What is the point of all of that? The cloak and
Well, it's
the mystery.
you won't be able to predict the phoenix rising. See, during the Black Death, if you go look up at the research, the Black Plague, Black Death.
But why wouldn't they want us to predict? Why would they not want us to predict that?
Stock market. Because you can predict, because everything happens to us. We go through cleanses at the same time. That affects the stock market. Floods, all sorts of weather is predictable. So
But
whether
once
that
you
was...
know that they can...
Sorry, go ahead.
Once you know that the controllers of this realm have ultimate control because they print the money, it's not about, you realize it's not about money, it's about something more or different to that. The controlling.
Right. So the profit mongers aren't the same as the astrologers. The astrologers just sell the information. They get, they get all their, whatever they get, but the karma that comes with it. Don't forget spirits in each and every one of them. And we're getting...
It seems like there's a tiered... it seems like there's a tiered system of knowledge that is allowed, kind of like the Freemason tiering system, where people at the top have the utmost knowledge and those on the way down have less and less. And
but they missed but they missed the ultimate knowledge, love. So they didn't make it past. There's not one grade one. There's not one grade one Freemason. The Freemasons were original Brahmin, Arahant, Christ-conscious people sharing truth. And eventually, over time, in the Piscean age, profit mongers took over. Oh, let's keep the... No, if we are the ones that know, we're going to make money. Well, that's the fall of Babylon now. They missed the most important thing, and they pay for it because it's much karma that goes there. But at the same time, they were deliverers of everybody's a deliverer of karma, and that goes away now. We stop giving each other karma because we're supposed to all go to love.
Where we come from?
Where we come from, love.
Why did we come here in the first place if we already were?
That is a really good question.
All about?
Right. That's a really, really, really good question. All we know is that we're here and we're stuck here because we don't know how to love. And I'm sure that all that will be answered once and more as we get into the age of Aquarius, because it's revelation time. After revelation comes Genesis. And know that animals take domain of the earth and man takes a back seat. So it's very important for you to understand that Genesis is the rebirth of Mother Nature. The amount of animal encounters that we are getting is exponentially growing, which is beautiful. They'll be attracted to you. So try to love every insect, every little thing. Try to love them. It's important. Okay, I'm just checking the chat, making sure that there's no questions there. Yeah, Lex?
I think the weighing of the heart will be taken over by the weighing of the kidneys. So the heart is free for love.
You're absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely right. All right, we'll continue on. Need you to clear your mind now, because you're going to start looking at a clock. This is using stellarium. This is a view looking south. So this is not homework, but just like learning how to walk, you have to practice, okay? When you go outside in the morning, make a practice to look south. So write this down. If you want to learn astrology, you have to orientate your body. So in the morning, make it a practice to look south. If you don't know where south is, use a compass. There's one on most every phone. So when you look south first thing in the morning, you will note that the sun is on your left, which is the east. Okay? So you'll notice the sun start rising in the east. Just by you doing this practice, you're tuning your body in towards love because you care, because you're looking. You'll start to see more signs because you're starting to tune in. You are a transceiver. You're a transmitter and receiver of love. But if you're not looking to the sky or looking for the signs or paying attention of where you are and who you are, this is really important. So look south, and then to the left, you'll see the sun rise. So you'll see the sun brighter in the left. When you go outside in the evening, look south, and you'll notice the sun setting in the west. Program yourself, do that. This way, when you look for the stars, you'll already know by, okay, if I know I look over my garage, that's east, and if I look over that tree over there, I know that's west. You've now started your first journey into navigating the seas. See, a person owning a ship uses the stars for navigation. We need to personally do that to navigate the seas. So this is an important little exercise for you to do. Orientate yourself. So congratulations, you will now be beginning to learn how a bird flies. As amusing as it sounds, it's important to get your bearings. It truly is a healthy thing to do. You got to start getting back with the cycle of the clock, of the sun, and then the moon, and then the phoenix rising. And then you'll see the planets and how they affect and how beautiful each and every one of them is. So the sun rises in the east and sets in the west when you look south, to your left, and then to your right. Any questions on that? We're almost done. Go ahead.
So that's just an exercise, right? I mean, it's just a matter of just south isn't necessarily has to be south, but just orientate yourself just to be aware of what's going on in your surroundings of the seas above, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's just important so you know that the sun rises that side and it goes that side. Now people don't even know which way is west. They don't know which way is east. So it's like this is our whole life, right? So we should know that. We should really know that. Anyone else? Okay, so these are the two software that I've been able to find that has it. I don't care what software you use. If somebody can find other ones that are able to get everything that we need, God bless. And I thank you, brother, for showing that there, because if we can find one that's free online, that'd be amazing. TimeNomad is only for the iOS, iPad, iPhone. The price is free, but you need a couple add-ons, and it's going to be less than $20. Carlos shared them with you. I think they're $5.99 a piece or something. You only really need two. You need the extra planets and the fixed stars. Astrogold is for the iOS, Mac, and Android. The iOS price is $40, Mac is $230, Android is $30. The only problem with Astrogold is they use the Black Moon as Lilith, and then they don't have the real Lilith. If you want to understand temptations, you have to have Lilith. It's amazing the alignments that you get with Lilith and people on temptations. So to do it properly, here it is what you were asking. Sidereal, Lahiri, 12 equal houses with house 1 aligned at 0 point Aries. The extra luminaries that you need to have is Eris, Juno, Ceres, Hygeia, Chiron, Pallas, Vesta, Lilith, Black Moon, and Icarus. So if something has all that, that's fantastic. The reason why I like Astrogold is because you can hit a play button and watch everything move. The way it moves around is a little bit better than TimeNomad, but my preference is TimeNomad. I do have TimeNomad and I have Astrogold for iOS and Mac. I don't have an Android. So you should, after this first class, have the realization that we're upon a special event called the Phoenix Rising. As we go through each class, you will become more and more familiar with using the Zodiac as a navigation tool. The stars, both fixed and wandering, are not only used to navigate a physical ship like we just talked about, but also your metaphysical ship or the boat of Ra. And that's what is meant by the boat of Ra in Egypt. And as you can see, we won't go through all these because I don't know them all, but I know some of them in this. But you can see he's got his eye with him, his enlightenment, and he's able to steer his ship. But he hasn't finished yet because he's still an embodiment, as you can see. And that is it. Any final questions before we wrap up?
I have one last question about the Phoenix Rising and happening. Say, so to us, well, I'm in the US. So how, from your perspective, does a Phoenix Rising alignment that's happening from the perspective of someone halfway across or all the way across the world, have effect on the people on the opposite, side of the world who don't have the same perspective in the sky?
Are you mean like, for example, Australia, the southern portion?
Well, so you say, go to this date in Queensland, New Zealand, to see at this time, to see this Phoenix Rising that you're, talking about.
Yep.
If that's only, or the best place to see it, you're not going to see that same phenomenon happen in the sky in the US. See what
Right.
I'm saying? So how does that affect, what's the logic there that, that's going to have an impact on everyone?
Right. So that's an awesome question. Everyone is impacted from a Phoenix Rising, and it depends on your chart, your natal chart, and where you're at with karma, both good or not good. So, for example, people that are passing out, when you look at somebody's charts that's passing out, you can see that they've had, they were born on a full moon, and their natal chart aligns with the current positions of the north and south node. So they had a personal eclipse. Our prediction this is just a prediction, for sure, next year during a Phoenix Rising, some people will pass out for 3 days. That's the story of Jesus dying and coming back, dying on the cross and coming back. Some people will have that happen to them. This April 13th to 16th is also something that we're saying, people, if you know somebody passes out, don't worry about it. It's a cleanse. Now, depending on their karma, good or not good, you can either fall down on a bunch of feathers or fall down somewhere else. So the exact location where it happens is only to show where the clock is, so we remember that we do have love coming back to us. So the people in Queensland, New Zealand, doesn't mean something's going to happen to them more than anyone else. But we do think there's weather that's associated with it. For example, the Phoenix Rising happens at 0 point Aries. On the lands, that marks California coast. The big one. Well, if you go back and look, I don't have the dates in front of me, but I got all the information on a slide somewhere. There used to be a California island. And when you start researching it, you'll find out that happened after a Phoenix Rising. The land split. And then it just goes away because the land will always fold in on each other. The Pangea and what do they call that? The tectonic movement and all that. They got that all mixed up. The lands will always be the same shape. Aries is the head of the world, isn't it? Taurus lines up with South America. Isn't that where the bull is? Leo lines up with Africa. That's where the lion is. Virgo lines up with Isis. I'll pull that up in one of our classes. The stars map the lands. Corona Australis lines up with Australia. The ocean, the Pacific Ocean, lines up with Pisces and Aquarius, where all the water is. New Zealand starts coming out where the goat is, half fish, half water, 1 foot on the water, 1 foot on the land. So it's just to show us the deeper meaning of where we are. in this manifest. So it's your chart that will give you your experience, your natal chart. These are like, when you look at the current Phoenix rising, it's going to be opposite to what seems very, very accurate to what a brother said, that the eye of the Sahara, somebody said that's what, was it Plotinus said was Atlantis. Well, there's a great big hole there, and that lies right along where the Phoenix rising is going to be, except on the other side in Queenstown. So the clock is there. There's still marks on the earth from 26,000 plus years ago. The true length of a round is 558 times 48. So that number is not there. That number is not proper, what we use right now. You'll find, if you go look in the book, the Phoenix rising, Eris marks the Metonic cycle, the Saros cycle, and the Phoenix risings. She sets the clock. When she goes direct every year around Christmas time, or sorry, New Year's Day, January the 11th. Well, if you take the 10 days out of the calendar, there's your January 1st. Because when she goes direct, we're supposed to be making promises to ourselves and to her. When she goes retrograde once per year, so direct and retrograde. When she goes retrograde, the River Nile floods right around the Sirius rising position. It's freaking beautiful, man. That's the mother of all mothers that does this. When the Egyptians wrote it on the walls for us. It might have even been by us. Might have been us. It might have been this room of people that did it. Because it's an ancient priest language that's written on the walls. It's not phonetics. So to answer your question, not only them get to feel it, but there's going to be some prophecy that happens that we're studying and we're trying to figure out. Volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, ashes, Ash Wednesday. The sun leaves for 3 days. Is the physical sun leave, or is just us? And when the one in the sky for 3 days. Is it ashes fill up everywhere? Well, we know meteorites are just volcanic gas that recondense. So that whole thing is kind of thrown out the window that NASA teaches about, or mainstream science. When you don't know, you don't know. So I hope that answered your question. If it doesn't, please say, I don't believe you. I need more proof. Like, this is open, guys. This is not me preaching. It's us.
So that makes kind of a lot of sense to me. It's more about what you're saying. What I heard was it's more about, that sets the time. So it's not about the event. It's not about the that actual thing happening, in those 15 minutes or whatever. It's about that marks a spot that potentially, if you believe that the above, how everything's aligned, all that affects this realm, then, that marks a spot where, it's go time or whatever you want to call it. So where then those things above will affect us down here in a way. Right.
So,
is what I heard. Yeah.
Right. There is a huge volcano that's across from New Zealand. Look, if you're loving, you're always going to be safe. All right. I'm not saying this to try to make anybody lack of bravery, but the Bible is full of these events. Could have been for a previous Phoenix rising. I don't know. But I do know that the lands will fold in on each other themselves. That's the Plato's divided line. That's the incommensurate nature of the golden triangle, the way it folds in on itself. So it's a beautiful place we live in. It's a perfect place that always goes back to one love. Anybody else?
I think I managed to bring it up on Solar Fire, Claudio, using those exact parameters. So,
yep, there it is.
The only difference I see is that Vesta's kind of snuck in between, and it may be because on my Solar Fire software I only have the place database for the US, so I don't think it's fully kind of grabbing the Queenstown, New Zealand. Whether that's the reason or not, I mean, I can see it line up right there. You know,
Beautiful.
0 degrees areas, and then the North Node is on, I think, the 9th degree. Is that correct?
Yep.
But obviously,
No,
give
yep.
or take the times and the fact that my software head here doesn't have the New Zealand territories loaded in, which I will, you know, take some time to look further into it and see if I can find some, you know, free softwares that also show it as well. So I will keep you posted on that.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much. That's really appreciative, man. We can only win when we're together. That is so awesome. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Hey guys, well, tried to make it for 1 hour, but it was 2. It's okay. It's beautiful. Awesome. It's about your life, right? So it's a good investment. Appreciate it. If you guys want to give me any kind of feedback, any kind of improvements, it's my first go round. I don't really like to use. Go ahead.
What are we diving into next week?
Let's see. The next we're going to be going through It's Your World, Understanding Karma, 42 Spiritual Laws of Isis, the Denderah Zodiac, the Source of Misinterpreted Bible, and Introduction to Astrology in the Lost Settings.
And one more time on the iOS app, you said the plugins were Fixed Stars and...
We're talking about fixed stars and extra planets.
Extra. Thank you.
Welcome. For me, this is invigorating, man. So I really, really appreciate it. Very invigorating. And thank you for those, you know who you are, who have pushed me to do this. Really much appreciated.
Thank you, Claudia.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Have a great one, everybody. Love you all.
Thank you, Claudio.
Oh.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Thank you,
Good week.
Claudia.
Take care. Much love.
Take care. Much love.
Same time next week. Yes.
Namaskar. Thank you very much.
Ciao, Bieda.
Speak to you soon.
Ciao. Thank you, Lisa.